This is Pro Series Off Topic.
Welcome back to Pro Series Off Topic. This is episode 54, and today is going to be about networking. I know I talk about this quite a lot on this podcast, and I've talking about it a lot on the Pro Series, the main podcast with different entrepreneurs, but it is, in my opinion, the seed of it all to be a successful person in your career in the business world. And I had the honor of going to my alma mater this week, IUP, Indiana University of Pennsylvania, and speak as an advisory on the advisory board for the College of Interior Design. And one thing, I did a couple mock interviews with students, and this is kind of what stemmed the conversation of me wanting to talk about it here this week on Off Topic. And it was mainly on, they're so confused on where to start to find a job or where to figure out how to job shadow or internships or anything. And my biggest thing, and really the only thing I want them to get into their head is networking. And at first, you think networking is you have to go to all these events. You need to be, part of organizations. You need to go to all of these events to meet people. But nowadays, we have it so easy to network. We have LinkedIn, we have Instagram, we have Facebook, all these social media platforms. You might be thinking, hey, social media is a personal thing, but this is what I do for my business here. If you ever follow me on my personal account, I don't let a lot of people follow me on my personal account, but I maybe post once a year. People are very surprised by that. But I just don't feel like that is something that's not what I want to do. I don't want to share personal stuff on social media. It's all business related. I do post a lot about business, and I think there's like a fine line there where people, they feel weird posting about accomplishments in their career, but they are going to go on there and post about a car they just bought or, their dog pictures or whatever. But why not post those career accomplishments that could get you a better job in the future or get you a promotion or get you a client that you needed in that moment? I mean, we have it so easy nowadays, especially with LinkedIn. If you go on and connect with anybody and everybody that is in the field that you want to be in, if you're a student right now listening to this, just go on LinkedIn, go to companies that you love, follow them, connect with the vice president or the head of sales or wherever department you want to get into and be able to get eyes on you. And if you are comfortable enough, message them. See if you could get a call with them just to talk their ear off a little bit. See what you could maybe do a little job shadowing, or maybe it could go into an internship. You never know until you ask. The worst thing they're going to say is no. So why not just do it? I think social media is a huge thing that people miss up on when it comes to leveling up their career or just having a successful career or just maintaining their career. I think a lot of people, you think social media is just something that the young kids do nowadays. And I totally understand. I've talked about this many times on the podcast about how I would hate to be able to grow up with social media nowadays. I think it's a very, very cruel world that social media is now. Social media really wasn't a thing growing up for me. I don't think I had a Facebook page until I was like in 9th or 10th grade, Twitter in junior year, and then Instagram senior year. And back then, you posted the stupidest stuff. You put your class schedule out there to see who was in your classes, or you posted your birthday gift for that year. It wasn't what it is now with the filters and the cruel world of the comments. And I know the kids nowadays have it very hard when it comes to social media, but they also have it very, very easy when it comes to networking. I don't think this is going to take away from the interaction of going into an organization or going to actual networking events. I think that's the top tier. You need to be able to do that. You need to be able to shake the hand. You need to be able to talk to the people in person. But it's a great start when you're getting into your career or you're trying to go into a new career that you know no one. So being able to go on LinkedIn, being able to go on Instagram, connecting with these careers or people in that field that you want to go into is a huge benefit. And I think a lot of people miss on, and being able to post your accomplishments is huge. If you're going to a speaking seminar, even if you're going to just watch it and you're not actually a speaker, post a picture of it. Tag the company that put it on. Tag the people that were speaking. It's a great way to connect with people like that. And it shows that you are putting your career first, and you want to level up in every way possible. So it really, I know speaking to students, they just don't know this yet. And it's something that I really love to talk about. I've talked about it a couple times with a couple students. And it's something I feel very passionate about is the whole networking thing. But it's just so funny seeing people that have been in their career for years, and they're confused on why they're not leveling up or whatever. And the people that keep leveling up and keep getting higher and higher in their career are people that are putting themselves out there. They're the people that are being seen. If you're not being seen, how do they know to promote you or get you that new job? So social media is just another way. I think I've heard a bunch of business podcasts, but I can't remember exactly this conversation that I heard, but it was about how back in the day the best way to network or getting seen in a corporate office or just in an office in general was being able to just walk the halls, say hi to people, get to know people during breaks or just during the day. And that's basically what LinkedIn is now for. You just walk the halls, go on there, search for the company that you inspire to work for, or connect with the people that have that position that you strive to have one day, and just be able to have the courage to message them. I know when people message me, I'll give them the advice. I know sometimes it doesn't always get to me. There's a lot of messages that sometimes it just don't get to you, especially in social media world. But I try to answer as many as possible, because if you could help one person out or help just the future, I think a lot of people struggle with the kids coming out of school that are coming into your career. You don't want your career to die. You don't want your field to die. You don't want the industry to die. So why not help out who is coming in and probably is going to be your colleague in the next, 2 to 5 years. So that's my big thing with social media. Just get on it, connect with as many people as possible. Social media, we have it so easy nowadays to network, and it is something that we are sleeping on. And especially with LinkedIn or ZipRecruiter or Indeed, just make sure you're active on there. Make sure you have a presence on there. Do not just put a photo on there and have your resume on there. I don't think that's enough. You need to be able to be posting different events that you're going to, or just commenting on people that you strive to have, or if you're trying to get into the speaker space, connect with a bunch of them and commenting. It goes a long way, and that's the best way to be seen, and that's what you need to be doing to level up in your career. So that's my big thing with networking. I think I could go on and on about it, and I talk about it a lot on the Pro Series, and a lot of these entrepreneurs didn't get where they were unless they didn't go networking. And I think that's a lot of, you hear this many times with networking things, and I just Googled power of networking quotes, and Steve Jobs came up, and a bunch of these huge entrepreneurs talking about the power of networking and how it could get you to where you need to be. And it's not being fake. I think a lot of people think just getting to know and being nice to people is fake. But if you truly want to be somewhere and you want to learn, that's another thing. You need to be able to learn from these people that you're networking from. That's the whole point of networking. You're trying to learn, you're trying to connect with people, you're trying to gain connections in the field. It is sometimes, it could look fake to some people, but you could tell who is genuinely trying to connect with you and try to just broaden their network and try to get a better career for themselves or for their clients. And it's a huge thing. I think I could talk about it again forever, but let's get into country music. Let's start off with new music this week. There's a bunch of just singles that came out this week. First up, Tiara Kennedy. We talked about, she was on the Beyonce album. I think she's a very underrated artist. She has a great voice. Came out with I Ain't a Cowgirl. It's a pretty good song. She's had some other songs, like an EP a couple of years ago, that I think were her best work that I don't understand why it didn't pop off. But Go check that out. Cody Johnson came out with his cover of Mamas Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys from the ACM Awards last year. It was a tribute to Willie Nelson. Go check that out. But it's the live version that is now audible on Apple Music and Spotify. And I think this is probably the biggest song of the week. Coming up next is Lee Brice. Came out with a single called Drinking Buddies with Haley Witters and Nate Smith. Great choices on two artists that are coming up into the country music world or becoming that next big thing. I think Jelly Roll and Lainey Wilson have been, the past 2-3 years have been huge, but I think Haley Witters and Nate Smith are going to be huge in the next 2 years. They just have that, Haley has that classic country 90s style singing, and the production of her songs sound very 90s, early 2000s. And Nate Smith, he's already has a couple number ones under his belt and is killing it. And this song's, it's decent, but I think it's going to do very well just because of who he has on the song. It could be a good country summer song. Next up, we have two songs that came out with this one artist, Jennifer Nettles, from for Sugarland. She's going on tour this fall with Little Big Town. They came out with a song a couple weeks ago that they released on CMT Awards, Take Me Home. It was a Phil Collins cover. Great, we talked about it a couple weeks ago, but she came out with a song on Darius Rucker's single, Never Been Over. I think it's great. I was very curious on how their voices would sound together, but they sound great together. I think it's a great song. It's a very slow ballad type of song. So it's not upbeat, but I think it's a great song, and I think it could have the potential of going number one. Josh Turner came up with another hit called Heating Things Up. He has, he's been out of the spotlight for a little bit. I think he's done some cool side projects that he's been doing with, the Christmas music and all kinds of other stuff. He did that Randy Travis stuff back in the couple years ago or during COVID, but this is a really cool song. I think this is a great way for him to head into the summer with country music, summer country music, and also just get back on the charts. Mickey Guyton, we've talked about a couple times on this podcast. She came out with a song called Scary Love. It's decent. It's a well-written song. I don't know. I just don't resonate with it because it's a song about a mother and the child and how it's scary love and all that stuff. It's a very well-written song. I just don't know if it's going to hit very well with country radio right now. She has a beautiful voice. She has great written songs. She's bound to have some type of hit coming up soon. It just hasn't happened yet. This next one, Elle King, has come out with her first song since that whole Opry debut, or that Opry fiasco with the Dolly Parton tribute that she had a couple weeks ago, or a couple months ago at this point, that she was a little under some liquid courage there. And she came out with a new song called Baby Daddy's Weekend. It is very catchy, kind of funny. I think Elle King is known for that. She has those relatable, just funny but good songs. I don't think it's definitely not going to be as good as or big as Drunk with Miranda Lambert, but I think it will do pretty well on country radio just because it's a cool concept and it sounds good. Diplo came out with the mixtape of his Tom Weasley album. Just some remixes of some of the big songs that he had in the last couple years, like Heartbroken with Jesse Murph and Paulo G, and Lily Rose with Sad in the Summer. But those are really just remixes. I'm not a really big fan of it. It's just like remixes of his country music, and I think I just like the original is better. But Jennifer Nettles came out with another song this week, Love Still Here. It's a pop song. I don't know if it's a cover of some type of theater opera type of song, but that's kind of what it sounds like. I'm not in that world, so I don't actually know. So if you know, please comment and correct me. But it's called Love Still Here with Noel Chardris. Again, probably butchering the name because I have no idea what that who he is, but he's probably big. But it's a beautifully produced, and her voice sounds great. They sound great together. It's a great song. Mason Ramsey, you might know him as the Yodel Boy that was on, I think it was Vine or maybe it was TikTok. It was so long ago, or Facebook at this point. But he was yodeling in Walmart years and years ago when he was little. Come up and being this country singer now, and he has a song called Something You Can Hold. He has that really, really old country style to him that I think will catch on soon. I think we're trying to get into that kind of that world now with country music. But I think he does it really well, and I think he is coming in at a right time with that sound. Um, Caroline Jones came out with an acoustic version of her song with Zach Brown Band. Zach Brown Band is also singing with her. It's called Million Little Band-Aids. I believe she's the female part of the Zach Brown Band. It's a really, really cool song, and I love this acoustic version of it. It sounds amazing. Check that one out. And last up, Randy Travis with An Old Pair of Shoes. Not my favorite Randy Travis song, but I kind of, after listening to this, I went through a whole Randy Travis I guess I listened to all his essentials. If you have Apple Music, they have essential playlists, and I just went down the list and just listened to them all. He has so many good songs. This is also, it's still a good song, but it's not one of my favorites. But I just went down a huge Randy Travis rabbit hole yesterday, listening to it on the way home, back from the middle of the state for work, and it was a cool trip down memory lane. Let's get back into country music Mediabase chart this week. Number 5, Bailey Zimmerman with Where It Ends. Number 4, Scotty McCreery with Cabin a Solo. Jordan Davis comes in at number 3 this week with Tucson Too Late. Number 2 this week, Tyler Hubbard, Back Then Right Now. And the number 1 song of the week is Sam Hunt with Outskirts. That's really it. That's really all I have for new music and Mediabase chart. I do want to mention something about the Stagecoach Eric Church fiasco. I've seen some videos on TikTok. If you are not caught up on the whole situation, he was the headliner for Friday Night Stagecoach this week, and a lot of people were leaving. I saw all these TikToks of just so many, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people just leaving the venue during his concert. He did a very scaled back acoustic with a choir type of, I can't say scaled back, that's kind of rude to say. It's more of a slow down acoustic type of set with a choir. It was very, very cool. I thought it was really, really cool. I think it would be cool to see. I just don't think it was the right place for it. I think it would have been cool at the Ryman or during his residency at the Chief Bar in Nashville. I just don't think Stagecoach was the place for it, and I think that's why people reacted the way they were, because he was the headliner at Stagecoach. If you don't know Stagecoach, it's the country music Coachella. It's the same place, same venue. It's just a couple week after Coachella, and it's just one weekend, and usually the headliner is, the one that is the huge A-list star first off, and then they're the ones that are just going to bring down the house, not kind of have people leave the house type of deal. But I thought it sounded really good. It was a cool risk that he took. I think it's something that he wanted to do as an artist, and I think that's something that's very something to look up to for him. I think he tries to do stuff different all the time, and it usually works out. This time it didn't work out, but I don't think it didn't work out because it wasn't good, because I think it was good. It just wasn't the right venue for it. I think if he did that at the Ryman or at his Chief Bar, he'd be getting praised right now for it. It just wasn't the right venue for it. But I think it still sounded amazing. You go on, and there's many, many videos of the performances on there, not just people leaving. But it sounded good, and the choir was a cool touch to some of his songs that the hits that he's had. But that's all we have this week for Off Topic. We have another Pro Series podcast coming out this Wednesday, so stay tuned to that, and I hope you have a great rest of the weekend and week.